Within the vast multiverse, there are countless stars, planets, and solar systems that house sentient life forms simply attempting to live their lives on their homeworlds. While some of these species live and thrive within their own environment, there are others that attempt to explore and conquer the other species they come across. During the 21st century, multiple species made it to planet Earth, where they found themselves stuck within the Black Mesa Research Facility. Here, they attempted to use their natural abilities to murder the humans they came across in the hope to make planet Earth their new home. While the faculty of the facility attempted to survive against the Xenian lifeforms that had flooded in, there was another race that was seen to hinder the members of the hazardous environmental combat unit. What was this species? Where did they come from? And how did they make an impact on those attempting to survive the Black Mesa Incident? Here we explore in the lore behind Race X. Within the multiverse, there are points that connect the different dimensions and worlds together. These are called border worlds. During the Black Mesa Research Facility's experiments with teleportation technology, they created a scientific breakthrough where they were able to teleport themselves into the border world of Xen. While this discovery would change the face of science and humanity forever in the future, this discovery also came with its dangers. As the scientists explored Xen, they found that not only did it have connections to various locations in the multiverse, but it was also home to various species that had landed here after their homeworlds had connected with it. While there were many species here that had colonized the border world, which the scientists had labeled the Xenian species, that roamed the open plains simply attempting to make a home for themselves on the floating islands, there was another species living just out of sight beyond the border world, connected but not quite within its range. Many years later, in the early 2000s, the scientists of the Black Mesa Research Facility had been collecting Xenian crystals to study using an anti-mass spectrometer. Although these experiments, for the most part, had gone to plan, on one fateful day their lives would change forever. During a highly stressful experiment under the orders of the Black Mesa administrator, Dr. Wallace Breen, the members of the anomalous materials team worked with a specially acquired crystal sample, GG-3883. As this crystal hit the beam of the anti-mass spectrometer, it shattered, flooding the area with exotic matter, triggering a resonance cascade. With a hole ripped in space, the Black Mesa Research Facility connected with the border world of Xen, and the life forms that had colonized the floating border world came to Earth. Through the chaos, Xenian lifeforms flooded the facility, but few of the survivors know of another species that use Xen as a gateway to planet Earth in the hopes to terraform the planet, and in turn, become their new home. While none of the survivors can speak of their encounters with Race X, the only known survivor, Adrian Shepard, fought through many of the creatures in an attempt to not only save the facility, but to escape it alive. Only known as the mysterious Race X, 6 species were discovered during the Black Mesa Incident, each one aiding each other in the quest to terraform planet Earth in the hopes it could become their new home, as Xen appeared not to have been a viable option for them. Using Xen as a pathway through to planet Earth, the intelligent Race X had constructed their own version of portal technology using a Xenian crystal, noticeably with a purple portal in comparison to the green teleportation that the Xenian lifeforms used. With this portal, they set upon the facility. With the species having managed to connect a purple portal to Black Mesa, Race X sent through shock troopers in small groups to clear the region of any hostiles that would get in their way. Standing at approximately 9 feet tall, the creatures stood on 2 legs with 4 arms to aid them in battle. With the race having mastered living weaponry, the shock troopers were able to kill those they came across using the shock roach, a living weapon capable of shooting out dangerous electrical charges. Believed to have been the most intelligent of Race X, the Shock Trooper's single eye allowed them to seek out any target that would get in the way of their mission, this including the Xenian creatures of the facility too. Using noises to communicate with their allies, noises indecipherable to the humans they came across, they could speak in secret on their next moves. While both Race X and the Xenian lifeforms had indeed invaded planet Earth, they both wanted it for themselves. From a distance, these creatures were said to have the natural ability to vomit spore grenades in the attempt to throw them at those in the vicinity. While the shock roach and toxic spore grenades in their own right were dangerous enough to survive against, in close combat, the troopers also used their sharp claws to swipe at any hostile tearing right through them. Although the members of the Hazardous Environmental Combat Unit mostly came across the adult versions of these creatures, the scientists of Black Mesa had also come across the less grown versions of them on their expeditions to Xen. Within the Sector E biodome complex, the scientists had observed these creatures before becoming fully grown to be similar to that of a tadpole. Consisting of merely a head, a torso and arms, it was discovered that during this early stage, these creatures could be used as a small weapon. By pulling on their legs, the creatures were capable of firing out toxic spores in the direction their mouth faced. On top of their impressive combat ability, it was also observed that the shock troopers had a natural ability to teleport on will, where they used this to their advantage for the mission and in combat. One instance noted was when a shock trooper grabbed a scientist in front of a security guard and a member of the Hazardous Environmental Combat Unit, essentially kidnapping him for an unknown purpose. As the shock troopers worked their way through the facility, killing those they came across, other members of Race X also had their roles to play. Similar to that of a reptilian creature of planet Earth, the PATRON species stand on two legs with two scythe-like arms. With eyes on either side of their head, they can observe their surroundings with ease and strike those from a long distance, shooting out darts held in their head and neck. When in close proximity, the PATRONs were observed to lunge and slash at their foes with their sharp claws on either arm, causing immense damage. Although significantly dangerous alone, these creatures were observed across the Black Mesa facility, hunting in packs of up to 6. It was also observed that while they did hunt in a pack mentality, this did not stop them from eating the dead of their own when hungry. Similar to that of the shock trooper and houndai, these creatures were also noted to be intelligent in not only their attacks, but also with their communication with each other in order to surround and then take down the prey they came across. With the shock trooper and PATRON appearing to be the infantry troops sent out to take out any resistant Race X would come across, there were larger creatures that had come through to Earth that would cause even more of a problem for the humans of the planet. Having managed to gain access to the deeper parts of the Black Mesa facility, presumably through Race X's ability to teleport, the giant Voltigore species hunted their prey standing on 4 sharp feet with scythe-like arms similar to that of the PATRON. In addition to this, the faces of these creatures also featured physical signifiers similar to the PATRON, such as their tentacled face and mouth, suggesting them to at least be biologically related to the PATRON species. Working alone, the Voltigore species were extremely dangerous to come across alone in combat due to their ability to swipe, resulting in extreme damage. From a distance, the Voltigore were observed to have the ability to conduct a dangerous electrical charge similar to that of the Voltigore species, who tapped in to the energies of the vortessence. While capable in combat, it was noted that these creatures struggled in smaller locations due to their height and width, blocking them from moving around with ease, and in turn, becoming vulnerable to the nimble and fast-moving members of the Hazardous Environmental Combat Unit. While a member of the Black Mesa Research Facility may at first not observe the creature, its movements and loud screeching would alert any in the vicinity of its presence and possible danger. It was observed that when successfully surviving an assault by one of these brutish creatures, it would explode on death, leaving everyone unlucky enough to still be within the area injured. To reproduce, the Voltigore lay eggs in safe spaces. Upon hatching, the creatures slowly learned their abilities. During the Black Mesa Incident, members of the Hazardous Environmental Combat Unit came across some of the younger Voltigore, and while they were much smaller than their adult counterparts, they were shown to be just as ambitious to kill those they saw as prey around them. Upon discovering these creatures, the HECU discovered that they lacked the ability to shoot lightning charges and were simply limited to swiping with their claws, but due to their limited movement, they were put down with ease by the soldiers, without an explosion after death. Regardless of how helpless the Voltigore are during their infant stage, they truly became a problem for many members of the Black Mesa Research Facility after their growth. As the shock troopers, pit drones, and Voltigore wandered the Black Mesa facility, taking out any that came across their path, a pitworm had made its way to the sewers of the facility. Here, the approximately 12 feet long, one-eyed creature had set up a nest, stopping any that attempted to proceed through the waste area of Black Mesa. It was believed that, like the worms of Earth, this creature had burrowed under the facility and made its way here. While 12 feet of this creature was visible upon observation, it was speculated that much more of it lay under the ground. Visibly disturbing to look at, the pitworm watches over its surroundings with a large mouth. Upon coming into conflict with the members of the facility attempting to pass it, the creatures relied on its ability to lunge at those with close proximity with its teeth and 4 sharp claws. From a distance, the creatures had the unique ability to generate a stream of dangerous energy where it would use its eye as a conduit to emit it at its prey. Just like the other members of Race X, the pitworm was noted to have the ability to screech aggressively where its cries emitted throughout the area, putting fear into anyone that heard it. Although only one of these creatures was discovered within Black Mesa, this one pitworm obliterated a unit of the HECU with ease, leaving the sole survivors crying out for reinforcements and backup to fight against the creature. To their luck, Corporal Adrian Shepard, a member of the HECU, heard the call for reinforcement and entered the nest of the pitworm. Discovering that human weaponry and even the biological weapons of Race X only seemed to anger the creature even more, Adrian used his quick thinking to use the nature of the waste facility against the beast to dissolve it in toxic waste before it could kill any other members of the Black Mesa facility. During the formation of the Resonance Cascade that had created the connection between Earth and Zen, the scientist within the test chamber, Gordon Freeman, witnessed floating orbs seemingly being pulled into and around the occurring unstable reaction. Given the name Sprites, these creatures were discovered around Black Mesa, having been teleported around the facility. Although not aggressive and limited in their intelligence, it was observed that the Sprites all had a mind of their own and all floated in the same direction in the facility, all leading towards the older, deeper areas of Black Mesa. As each species of Race X had a part to play in the capture and occupation of planet Earth, the Sprites may have had the most important. Traveling through the facility, each Sprite held valuable charged energy. With this, they carried it to a location in an abandoned area of Black Mesa. Using their combined energy, they constructed and charged a portal between planet Earth and the homeworld of Race X. Over the hours following the Resonance Cascade, and later the arrival of the Hazardous Environmental Combat Unit, it appeared that the Sprites had formed enough energy to charge the portal, allowing the shock troopers, pit drones, Voltigore, and the pitworm to make their way into the facility. Although the Sprites were a non-violent creature within the Race X group, they were essential to the plan. Over the following hours after the portal had allowed the other Race X creatures to make their way into Black Mesa, The Sprites continued to travel from Race X's constructed portal on Xen through to Earth, where they would float towards the portal, making it stronger every time one more burst of energy joined the portal. At this point, the creatures had cleared a way for the portal's safety, and with it, safety for the last known Race X creature to now make its way through, the Gene Worm. As the portal became more stable, the Gene Worm began to make its way into the Black Mesa research facility. From observation, this Race X creature was the biggest by far, towering over any human that came across it. As it made its way through, the Gene Worm watched with its two eyes as Black Mesa security members attempted to set up Xenian-powered guns to defeat the creatures coming through. Unfortunately for them, they did not expect something so large and powerful. With its many long tentacles, the Gene Worm was able to easily kill the humans that had attempted to oppose its arrival, and for the more nimble of the security guards, it used its ability to generate a deadly toxic stream of liquid from its mouth to catch them off guard. While they may have fought valiantly, the skin of the creature was merely too strong and kept it safe from the shots of the security guards. Only someone with quick thinking would think to fire at the weaker points of the creature, its eyes. Within the Gene Worm's abdomen, it had been able to generate its own purple portal, similar to the portal that the Sprites had been using to access planet Earth through Xen. Using the portal, the Gene Worm was able to teleport in reinforcements, such as shock troopers, to help it in battle against any resistance to the cause of Race X. Although this portal was a great advantage to the Race X cause, it would also be a weakness to the Gene Worm if the portal were to become unstable, if struck multiple times with any form of weaponry. With all of the effort it had taken to bring the Gene Worm through, from sending through the shock troopers, pit drones, Voltigore, the pitworm, and Sprites all into the facility, the Gene Worm had the most important job of all. All the other creatures needed to do was protect it. The Gene Worm's job, coming through, was to use its natural ability as a biological resource management factory to terraform planet Earth into a habitable planet for Race X. It would do this by taking the natural resources of Earth to convert them into useful items for the need of the mission. Unfortunately for Race X, their only portal into planet Earth was deep within the Black Mesa research facility, where not only humanity would put up a fight, but also the Xenian lifeforms that also had the same goal. As the Gene Worm continued to attempt to come through to planet Earth, it came across Corporal Adrian Shepard, who had been warned of a nasty creature down below. Setting his eyes on the creature, Adrian used the Xenian crystal-powered gun to shoot the eyes of the Gene Worm, and then continuously damaged the portal within the worm, making the portal unstable, defeating the worm. As the creature retreated back into the portal behind it, it used its natural ability to trigger a portal storm, sending out Sprites into the area, teleporting Adrian away. Although the creature had retreated back into the portal after its defeat, it is unknown whether it died shortly after or waited for another opportunity to re-enter planet Earth to terraform it for Race X's new home. But if it is waiting, it will be waiting for a while. As the tragic Black Mesa incident continued with many casualties across the entire facility, a thermonuclear device was placed within the parking garage by members of the covert Black Ops team and later activated by the mysterious G-Man. As it detonated a short time after, it destroyed everything and everyone within the Black Mesa complex that had not been lucky enough to escape. With the destruction of the facility, the portal connecting planet Earth to the homeworld of Race X was destroyed, breaking their only link to the planet and leaving their quest to terraform planet Earth a failure. Although this failure had cost them many of their members in their quest to form a new home, the destruction of their link to Earth had saved them a future of servitude to a more sinister, multi-dimensional force that searched the multiverse to enslave all sentient life. In essence, the mysterious G-Man had inadvertently helped Race X avoid the Combine. While only 6 different species were discovered of Race X, there could have been many more waiting on their homeworld, and now they can simply wait in peace in the hopes to gain access to another world to terraform into their own. Race X were a welcome addition to the aliens we encounter throughout the Half-Life series, as the creatures only appear within opposing force, and with opposing force having been developed by Gearbox instead of Valve. I liked that they had a reason for why Gordon or Barney did not come across any Race X creatures in their journeys. The creatures simply came well into the Black Mesa Incident because they had to wait for the Sprites to power the portal. Although not developed by Valve, it was great to see Mark Laidlaw give his view on Race X back when the Half-Life2.net forums were active, and Mark Laidlaw would simply give his opinions on the various Half-Life topics, creatures, locations, and beyond. With this video, it is a combination of the information Mark has given about Race X, as well as what Stephen Ball, the creator of Race X, has stated about them. These creatures fit perfectly well into the events of Half-Life, and I cannot help but think what would have happened if Race X would have gone up against the Combine. We do not know how big their army actually was, but I think they could have maybe taken over parts of the wasteland in the attempt to terraform enough of the planet and then go up against the Combine. I was not sure how interesting I could make this video, but I have enjoyed working on it. I have a newfound appreciation for Race X, simply down to how each creature had a purpose, and that purpose was to open the way for the Gene Worm to give them a new home. Maybe their homeworld was not sustainable for them, or they were also being attacked by the Combine. They could have been desperate creatures simply attempting to survive. That was the lore behind Race X. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and a comment on your thoughts. If you really liked it, then go ahead and subscribe. I know you've already watched a couple of videos by now, so why not subscribe and get notified when I post new content? Interacting in any way will help the video with the algorithm, so give it a like, a dislike, not that you can see them anymore, and a share if you want to show your Half-Life communities. If you would like to stay up to date with everything I get up to outside of YouTube, then go and follow my Twitter and Instagram. Finally, I would like to thank my patrons who are helping to support the channel. I really appreciate you. Thank you to The Old Gods, Talus, Detroit, Avi WV, Brunette Jonas, Jojo Scotia, Imaginary Holly, and this week we're welcoming Ruben Mendoza. Welcome aboard. I would also like to give an extra special thank you to the Elder Ones tier, Scruffshroom, Jonas, Lewis, and Queen Abby. Thank you guys so much. I realized that I actually have not mentioned the benefits of the Patreon. Basically, the Old Gods get access to scripts, screenshots, and general behind the scenes content when I'm putting together the videos. The Elder Ones get access to videos about a week before they post here. Sometimes I miss weeks, but I'm working on scheduling. There's also Discord tiers and other perks too. It also helps support myself and the channel. What did you think of this lore video? I had never really given too much thought into the agenda of Race X or the group in general before researching this video. I kind of just assumed they were in partnership with the Xenian lifeforms, but I've absolutely learned something new here. Which creatures did you prefer, Race X or Xenian lifeforms? Which is your favorite Race X creature? Which is your least favorite? Let me know in the comments below. For my favorite, I would say it has to be the Sprite. It just kind of does its job and it doesn't harm anybody. If you have any suggestions for future Half-Life lore videos, please let me know. I do have a long list to get through, but I'm working through it. The next few I am thinking about are Nova Prospect, The Quarantine Zone, and Epistle 3. Any suggestions are welcome. That was everything I wanted to cover in this episode. Now Resistance member, enjoy your day. Bye.